And the Alliance in the blue. We're going to pick up the pace here. Drivers behind the line. 3, 2, 1, rush.
So underway, I see the Team 67, they put their arms down. They're in the buckets, but they didn't pull back. That might have been part of the plan.
Yeah, if nobody's going against them, it's just as easy to grab them here.
So then they just get the arms in and then pull them back.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a conscious choice, but I think they knew nobody would be opposing them there, so they had that luxury.
So 20 points right off the hop.
Yeah, for the Blue Alliance. The Blue Alliance in this one is the Flyers, that one team in technical difficulties. Now you're getting a shot of the hot Team 67 out of Milford and Highland. In the foreground there, 51-14, the Titanium Tigers. They're out of Fenton. And there you see a shot of the South Lyon team, 36-41. And oh, that's Smarts. Those are the bobbles that could very well hurt you.
So that looks like a good stack for the hot team, but again, the noodle is in there.
Yeah, so that's a nice stack.
But it seems like it's easy for that recycle bin to roll off if it's on its side.
That's correct. They need to be gingerly when they go up there.
Yeah, and I've actually spoken to that team a little bit about that. I think that a lot of them wish they had gone a different direction on that recycling container scoring device.
Now here's technical difficulties, 15:02. They're out of Chelsea, Michigan. Looks like a bit of an issue, and they're not moving forward. And so I don't like seeing that. Now they move. Because I had additionally seen the FTA over in the corner looking through at the machine.
You know, isn't it funny, Dave, that we see more technical difficulties happening later in the day? Is that an accurate assessment?
I don't know. It feels like that. I don't know if it's in part people start getting tired at the end of these long days or if there's pressure. I don't know. I sometimes have a feeling that's what's occurring at the end of a long Friday where you've run qualification matches all day and everybody's a little tired having cycled that adrenaline up and down all day.
Well, Blue Alliance
is
dominance.
Looking great over there. And Red Alliance, holy cow, that is not what you want.
No, a lot of stacks, but no recycling containers on top.
And so their two matches, leading up to this point had been good, and now they lead off here in the quarterfinals, and quite honestly, not good at all for this alliance.
I mean, again, the recycling container is acting as that 3 times multiplier. You really need to have 4 or more of those up on your side of the field.
And what's frustrating for the teams is, you think as the competition continues, the machines would maybe not be more efficient, but they would be less prone to break down because you've worked that all through.
Yeah, and you've had time to develop. Yes, you would think that, and especially this year because you don't have defense, you don't have other machines pounding on you all the time like we've seen in past years. A lot of times in past years, you had to build a very robust machine because you were getting beat on out there, quite honestly, at times. You don't have to do that, right? These machines don't have to be built robustly to take the jostling from other machines, but they're still getting a lot of plays in on them here, and you still need to execute.
So here's our score. It ends up to be a 200-plus performance for the Blue Alliance.
Yeah, so with that, the Blue Alliance is happy, and the Red Alliance is, I mean, they are just demoralized at this point. With a 116, right? We saw it took 170, what was it, 178 or so to advance to these quarterfinals. And now, even to get back to a 178 average, man, you've really got to jump it up there. 60, you're going to have to put up a 240 or something in the next one to bring that average up there.
And to add insult to injury, there's 12 foul points there on the Red Alliance. The human player reached over the wall twice, so they got 2 safety violations there.
So here's the Blue Alliance in the next match. The Mech Warriors, Team Rush, and the captains. And the Red Alliance rolls out the Martians, Trucktown Thunder, and Torque.
So we've got 2 robots in this match, 27 Team Rush and Team Torque, 2137, both going to go for the recycling containers on the middle step, but they've chosen to go for a separate set. So they're not going to race each other, they're just going to share them.
So Team Rush for the Blue Alliance has their robot poised to try to grab these 2 cans here off the hop. And conversely, this robot hoping to do the same on the other side. That's Torque.
Yeah, that's Torque, 2137 out of Oxford.
You know, and this is the safe play for a quarterfinal match. You don't have to beat your opponent, you just have to put up a big score. And if they both get 5 recycling containers, they can both put up a big score.
Yeah, smart move on both these alliances, especially when you saw that Red Alliance in the first match. It's like, well, they're down, you know, they're hurting. And both of these alliances know they can put up a lot more points than what we saw from the Red Alliance in the first match.
So the autonomous period begins. Both teams successful in dragging the cans out of their area and bringing them into their side of the field. And right there, here's Torque.
Yeah, and certainly looking at that, they were lined up right in front of us. If they had gone head-to-head, Rush would have beat them pretty handily, though. So that was really a good move on the part of Torque to line up on the other side.
So both teams get 20 points in the autonomous period, and we move to the tell-op.
Now we see Truck, they're loading up T3, that's Trucktown Thunder, that little logo there on the back there, the T3 logo. And here's a shot from the other side of that machine.
That's a full stack. A little bit dicey up here, but it looks like that's going to stay on for them.
Yeah, they don't want to go and touch it anymore. Steer clear of that one in the future. There you see Rush topping that stack, and that's what they're a specialist at.
Efficiency is so critical here.
Now here come the Mech Warriors from Marion and Brother Rice. So they have the stack of 6, and they've got the recycle container and the noodle in there. So with that should be a 42 stack.
Very cautious on the release.
Yep.
We got a bin for the Red Alliance, a recycle bin that fell off. So they're having a bit of a problem on their end. You can see
now there's the Martian machine picking up a recycle container.
Boy, things are flopping all over the place for the Red Alliance.
That's a huge mess there in front of the human loading zone.
Yeah, trying to clear that out to get in there. Their truck clears that one up.
Inside 20 seconds, and
Now it's tidying up a bit, but you know, just like in that first quarterfinal we watched, here again, the Red Alliance, just things not going well.
it's so funny. You'd think at this point that it would be kind of a smooth, well-oiled machine, but
And that stack, I think, is not scored. I think that's leaning back on 68's robot.
Yeah, this guy here, I agree, Dan. That doesn't look like it's going to count for him.
That's 36 points they're going to miss out on there.
wow.
Yeah, definitely. That does
that,
not
yep.
count when you see that resting on that pool noodle. No points. That's a 0-pointer there.
Their noodle, so it's self-inflicted all the way.
Yeah, it just adds a little insult to injury there when that happens.
So here's the autonomous period. Started well. Both teams got 20 points.
So yeah, there's the first one, 30-98, moving a little too quickly and dropping 3 of those totes upside down out of their robot. Kind of started the problems on the blue side.
Wow. And it's, boy, that went wrong multiple ways.
I think that one crate got a little bit sideways inside the robot, so when they went to lift it up, it just got stuck.
So there's our numbers for the Blue Alliance, and
Yeah, disappointing all around, right? I mean, the 103 is a crusher for the Red Alliance, and the 150. Again, our average was over 170 to earn them a spot here in these quarterfinals, and both of them come out way, way below what they had done to get themselves here.
Blue Alliance. Here's our Blue Alliance. Engineers, Tech Vikes, and Built on Brains. This is quarterfinal number 3. And the Red Alliance makes up with the Blue Devils, NC Gears, and Killer Bees. And again, there's no carryover from the Sweet 16 or the Octo. What was it? The last one was the
Octo finals.
Octo finals.
Now we're into the quarterfinals. Yeah, in those first 2 matches for NC Gears, Killer Bees and Blue Devils, they were solid in both of their matches to get themselves here. And you might recall with the Blue Alliance here, they had a great first match, but then barely hung on with the second match and squeaked in to the quarterfinals here. So we'll see if they get their act back together here. And it started off poorly in that second match when the Tech Vike Autonomous didn't do what it's been doing all weekend long. It got to that third tote and then just kind of stalled out there. So we'll see if they've got that dialed back in. And you are looking at the Tech Vike machine there. You see they're trying to get things just so lined up here. Their MO has been that they would pick up that first green recycle container, hoist that basically up above the machine, scoop up that first yellow tote, grab the second yellow tote, and additionally then pick up the other recycle containers, and therefore have all 3 recycle containers and the 3 yellow totes.
Yeah, and as you said before, are we going to see a match like their first one, which was 208 points, or like their second one, which was 150?
Right. And I'm sure that all team members of all 3 of those teams are wondering the same thing.
And we start with, again, one of the better machines, the Tech Vikes. They had some problems last go-around, but this is a very good start for them in the autonomous period.
But they're running out of...
Yeah, I think that was not in time.
No, they didn't get it in time. And I wasn't watching, but also the Killer Bees missed it. So they're both coming out of autonomous with 0 points. And Dan, like you said, one of those strange things. They've been doing that stuff all weekend long, and then you get here and it's like, what happened? What went wrong here?
So 41-30 is the Blue Devils from Richmond. They've got 6 in that stack. And that works just fine for them.
Yeah, you talk about a great second pick for an alliance. That was it right there. Richmond team doing a fine job.
The Bees drop one off too, but only 5.
We had a machine tip for the Blue Alliance.
Oh, the Tech Vikes.
Wow.
Man, has their luck turned.
Wow.
That first match in the Octo Finals was great. Then the autonomous, didn't operate correctly in their second match, barely making in.
Well, the Red Alliance continues unopposed. The Killer Bees, that's been a good machine. They're going to go for a 4-stack of boxes and then put the barrel on. Well, I tell you, for having one machine down, this is a pretty credible performance by the Blue Alliance.
Yeah, I agree. Coming back there, built on brains, Bob out of Zeeland and the Engineers are still keeping them in the hunt. And here again, now we look at what's going on with the Red Alliance, right? 64 points. They're starting to add up a little bit, but there's only 10 seconds left in this match.
They're stuck on a noodle, a blue noodle.
And there those wheels are spinning.
Wow.
So that's one of the few forms of defense you can play here. If you can get those noodles across the field, they can get in the way for the other alliance, and they did there.
And as Dan pointed out, that was a blue noodle, right? That throw over across the field.
Well, the Blue Alliances have won all 3 of these, quarterfinal matches.
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm shaking my head with what I've seen in these first 3 quarterfinals. It's like, did everybody go to sleep? What's going on here?
Here's the tip for the Tech Vikes, just too fast.
What can happen here too is you start having things go wrong. They had 2 autonomous modes miss in a row, and that can get to you as a driver. You can get a little impatient. You can try to make it up when your machine can't handle it.
Yeah, and that one just looked like a turning too quick. And again, a lot of these machines are top heavy, right? Because they're built to build these tall stacks, and the center of gravity on these machines is pretty high on many.
And here's the Killer Bees stuck on that noodle. Boy, they hit it square, and that was enough to hang them out to dry.
Yeah, and then I think it's their own stacks. They had a wall of crate stacks blocking their driver's vision. So I think they came through there a little bit faster, not expecting anything behind it.
And there you go. I mean, 180 for blue.
And that's a lot of that's done with just 2 robots, too.
Yeah, because the Tech Vikes were flat on their back. But you know, compared to what they had done in the Octo Finals, 152, very unfortunate for the Red Alliance.
Yep, absolutely.
And here's what's coming up next in quarterfinal match number 4. Team Robotics, the Fighting Pie, and the Gearheads comprise the Blue Alliance. Red Alliance will have Robo Stangs, Bedford Express, and the Raptors.
Quite honestly, I'm just sitting here kind of holding my breath after watching these first 3. What is going to happen here? Now, again, this is our number 1 alliance coming up on the red side, the Robo Stangs, Bedford Express, and the Raptors. Again, they were very, very solid in the Octo Finals, both matches. But everybody's got to be scratching their head a little bit with what we're seeing here on Ford Field.
Yeah, I mean, our Red Alliance from the last match put up 212 in both of their Octo Final matches. So very consistent there, very high scoring, and yet only 152 that last one.
Wow.
So the Tech Vikes has been a great machine. Let's see if we can see where it all comes apart as it zooms off. And you turned too early. It turned too early in the process of getting off the ramp. That was enough to dislodge it.
Yeah, with that high center of gravity, you got to let the robot stabilize once you get off that ramp before you make your next maneuver.
Yeah, get onto the level carpet where the grip is a little bit better too. I think that is additionally a spot on that white is slipperier than the carpet out there, but tripped themselves up.
Again, the errors are magnified.
Yes.
And that robot is the Robo Stangs from Northville High School, getting some attention.
Yeah, it looks like they're probably trying to adjust their floor pickup mechanism there. Looks like adding some tension to those rollers. So my guess is...
Now, are they penalized in any way for that? How does that work if you're at the 11th hour here trying to make a mechanical fix?
Well...
What freedom do you have to do that? Is there a...
You can see one of our head refs right next to that robot.
Right.
And there is a time limit. So when you bring the robot on the field, you have a certain amount of time to set it up. And if you go beyond that amount of time, they can cut you off. They can send you off the field. So it looks like they got done just barely in time. So you know they're getting close when the head ref goes over.
And each alliance has the opportunity to call one timeout during these playoffs. But there's also a deadline at which you can call that timeout.
The Red Alliance positions 2 of their robots up front, and they're going to bring back 3 of the recycle bins. And this one here, now, can that be grabbed by blue? Or is it tipped far enough that it's all red? And Red Alliance off to a gangbuster start. Blue Alliance does well in the autonomous period as well.
Yeah, the one you asked about there, Dan, it still looks like there would be an opportunity for the blue to grab that because some of it's still sitting in the center of the field. they'd have to be pretty careful about that, though.
That orientation is hard for teams. So
Yeah,
that trash can is probably done.
Yeah, that's tough. And I'm looking at the machines over there on that side. I don't think they'd be going after it.
Team Robotics is the one taking 4 and now 5 bins to the right side of the screen. And in the far corner, it's the Gearheads.
And a big benefit of that 107 robot is after they finish their stack, they can just drive straight forward to where they want to place it. A lot of teams got to do a 360, a spin there, before they can be oriented correctly.
Interesting with a 3 stack by the Blue Alliance right here. They've got three bins on that Blue Alliance side. Here's the Red Alliance.
Yeah, the Red Alliance is looking smooth. There's 548 placing their second stack. And in the foreground, this is Bedford working this stack right here. So now they're heading over to place it.
This is a very competitive round and well executed by everybody involved.
That leaning container we were talking about earlier, 1711, did go get that for the Red Alliance. And they've positioned it nicely in the center of the field. It's upright. So a good job with that.
Boy, this might be our first Red Alliance win in 4 matches. Blue Alliance, though, isn't done at all. They just put a big chunk up there. We could have 2 teams over 200.
Yeah, the Red Alliance is they're hitting a grand slam here. If they can place these last couple.
That's 6 recycling containers.
Incredible. That's going to stabilize. And the Red Alliance, 260 unofficial.
Yeah.
And hey, the Blue Alliance, 192.
Yeah, it's a good
nothing
match.
to be shamed about.
Absolutely. Good match for them, too.
Wow.
So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All of them topped.
They're just missing 1 noodle.
And so again, three of those containers came from the center of the field, right? You only begin with 3 on your own side. And so 548, right from the autonomous, had 2 of them. 1711 had just kind of missed that one, but then I think they then went and got it because it was leaning their way.
Yep.
And used them all. That was a nice match for the Red Alliance.
Here's the Robo-Stangs. They had the mechanical adjustment they made. Boy, look at the speed with that. That's very up-tempo. Whatever they did worked. Yeah. Everything they did worked on that fix. So 260. That's about 30 points better than anything else we've seen today, I think.
Yeah, and the 192 is great for the Blue Alliance, too, because currently that would put them in 3rd spot.
How's that number? 132. 132.
Yeah, that's impressive. Well, they're the number 1 alliance, and they're showing it. They've played 3 good, solid matches.
And they've been getting better every single match.
Yes. And look what their students did to help out here, throwing litter. 42 points there.
Yep, so 30 of that was going to be in the recycling containers they scored, and the other 12 they picked up from their human player throwing them across the field.
So here is the updated leaderboard. We just saw a fabulous performance by that Red Alliance.
And at this point, right, everybody has played 1. So if we were to talk about going to the semis, it would be these 4 up here going to the semis, and these guys would not be making it. Now, they've got 1 more to play, and these folks really have their work cut out for them here to bring that average up to whatever it's going to be. To me, it looks real comfortable for these guys. Boy, there is quite a line going through there right now. 180 down to 152.
And here's our next quarterfinal match, number 5, the Blue Alliance with the Mech Warriors, Team Rush, and the Captains. Red Alliance, the hot team, the Tigers, and the Flying Toasters.
So here again, as I see them lining up, I think both these alliances again are doing a smart thing. Hot and Rush not lining up against each other, because both of these had a poor first match. The Red Alliance had 116 in the first match. The Blue Alliance 150. So they both need grand slams here in this second match.
They're going to have to be well up into 200 points, probably.
Yep.
And they can't risk getting stuck on the same recycling container in autonomous mode. If they both try to go and grab the same 2 cans and they get stuck together,
right,
that'll kill their match.
So it's almost kind of a gentleman's agreement. You take those 2, we'll take these 2.
That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah, they might have even talked to each other about it.
Right.
So the robots out front, the Tigers. And the Team Rush is out front for the Blue Alliance.
Yeah, I don't think the Titanium Tigers go for a recycle bin, and I think we're going to see Rush grab those 2. They've been pretty solid on that. And 67 is going to go for 2. We'll see if they can get their 2.
And the hot team jumps into action. And the arms lower there, but they're not pulling back on the bins.
Right. And Rush did. They've got their 2. But again, because nobody was lined up against them, this may be planned that it stays this way. And now they'll pull back, and they've got them.
Yeah, I think what we saw when they were running it in auto mode is sometimes the cans would get stuck on top of the gray totes there, and this is going to be easier for them to pick up and use.
Right. So now they've got them. And now, okay, students, time to execute. The Blue Alliance got their 2. The Red Alliance got their 2. And now I just see with a 67 machine, the first tote came down crooked. Now they're trying to line up again.
Boy, they're struggling to get that thing centered.
Yeah, in the meantime, in the back, the Flying Toasters, things are going really smooth for them on loading up. Now the Titanium Tigers, the 3rd member of that Red Alliance, standing those bins up. Now here again we see Rush. They're doing their work. They're preparing those recycle containers with the litter inside them. Ready to go place one now.
Team Rush will cap that stack off. And they've also got Mech Warriors.
Yeah, look right
look
down at the
that.
bottom. That's touchy.
Oh boy.
He's trying to wiggle that over there, or
Boy, that's a pretty good maneuver.
That is.
Is it successful though?
I'm holding my breath here.
If that looks pretty good, I'd cut it right there. Well,
my.
Oh.
Don't breathe. Nobody clap your hands.
Or sneezed or anything.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, somebody opens a door, that might topple. Here's a 4-stack.
Yeah, that's by the third member of that Red Alliance,
Tigers.
Titanium Tigers, yeah.
Yep. There's a clean stack for the Red Alliance.
All right, we're within 20 seconds. I see 67 heading over to try to place a stack. We're down with just 10 seconds remaining.
Ooh, we had a bin fall off there for the Blue Alliance and Team Rush. Well, they're going to struggle there to get those. They got them on. Wow, that was very close.
All right, so both alliances did much, much better that time than the first time out. Now, was it enough or not?
Looks like it might be enough for one of them, but we'll have to wait for the final scores. So blue needed 210 to take over one of the spots that would qualify them for the semifinals, and red needed a score of 244. And it looks like red's going to be around 200.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So here's how it started. Blue had a little bit more jump. And here, yes.
Yeah.
If you ever played Jenga, you kind of know what this is like.
Looking right down in here is what we're looking at. And the student does, I mean, that's a great job to lift up those top 4, give it a little nudge.
He was trying to juggle between there and the recycle bin on top. Here. That was tough. There's our score, a close call, but the Blue Alliance wins, but only by 7 points. So 210 for the Red Alliance.
So that 217 is enough to move the Blue Alliance right now into a qualifying position. We'll see if they can hold on to it through the next couple matches, though.
Let's bring in Sarah Zientarski right now. Sarah talking with the team that has the highest points of the day. Sarah?
Yes, I'm with Niraj, who is with the Robo Stings. I know they were a part of the Red Alliance, who scored 260 points. How were you guys able to do that?
How are we able to do that? So basically, we went to the build season this year, basically aiming to get as many points as possible, and we figured out in the first week the design we wanted to go with, and we stuck to that design. And whenever we made parts, we test them and we make sure they all work, and we just make sure that everything's smooth sailing.
How do the other two teams on your alliance help you guys out?
The other two teams in our alliance. So Bedford is really good at making 6-stacks consistently. So they would pump out 2 6-stacks with the 2 upright cans that are by our alliance station. We take our first upright can that's by our alliance station, and our human player would give us noodles, and then our opposing alliance, 1711, they'd upright the can so we pull an autonomous, and the one can that we actually built a mechanism to help them pull a can off of the step during autonomous as well. So instead of just our robot pulling 2, we get an extra can, and then they operated those 3 cans so we'd be able to pick those up and make stacks.
Well, congratulations on that score, and good luck in the rest of the competition. Back to you guys.
All right, Sarah, thanks. Well, he thought everything out. That was very detailed and complete.
Yeah, so I guess that mechanism on 1711 was added after they were picked.
Interesting. Now in this one, in the first match for the two of them on the red side, 68, 21, 37, and 494. A bit of a car wreck in their first match, 103 points. So they're really up against it here. The flip side of that, on the blue side, the Flyers, that one team in technical difficulties, 210 points in their first match. So it is going to take a grand slam on the part of the Red Alliance to move on to the semis.
See, maybe strategy, maybe robot issues. 2137 is lined up for those cans in auto mode, but they did not move.
Now they jump into action. And blue racks up 20 points. And we go to the teleop.
Yeah, so Dan, I'm looking at this. Well, I guess the Martians now are going for a recycle container, so they have hope in that they do have a machine that can go grab recycle containers, because they're going to need them to put up some big points here. They're going to have to be way, way north of 200.
Right, they were lining that up before the match, so I'm not sure why it didn't run, but I don't think the Blue Alliance has much to grab the cans off the steps, so those might be free for 494 for the Martians to grab whenever they want.
The Martians with that long reach grab the recycle bin.
And there we see Truck sliding a stack out there.
So here's the Blue Alliance. They've got a good stack, a little bit off center though. So they won't want to get near that stack. Otherwise they could dislodge it. And we've seen that the machines that turn too fast, too quick, can cause problems.
There's that one team, see right there, sliding a pool noodle in. That was team 49-67.
One more to go on that for the Flyers. They've got a full stack with a noodle. But you can see that noodle that's in their way, but they're able to navigate over it and successfully drop that stack. Now in the lower screen, you see the Trucktown Thunder. Not easy to grab that bin. Not going so well. But they got a good stack up top though. And everyone's running out of time. There's a green recycle bin that falls off for the Red Alliance. Both teams at or over 200.
Yeah, so the Blue Alliance, they're looking golden here. Looks like with what they've done, they will be moving
through.
on.
They're definitely
through. They're in. The Red Alliance, you know, that was a good effort here. We'll see.
So here's our scores. Both teams over 200, but the Blue Alliance, man, they couple that first quarterfinal score of 210. They improve on it by 219.
And that Red Alliance, they had 103 in their first match and 208 in the second. So that totals up to 311 to give them about a 155 and a half average. Even though a 208 is a nice score, it doesn't look like that 155 will be enough.
Yeah, I think they're eliminated with that score.
Are they done?
Yep, they're out.
You know, this is where it is kind of interesting, Dan, from past years. We're doing this average score, right? So we're in the quarterfinals, and you talk about two average scores. One bad match kills you it knocks you out. The old way, you would be up against an alliance. If you had a bad match, it didn't really matter because you needed to win 2.
Yep.
So you could have a bad match and still win the other 2. But a bad match here, it cooks you.
Yeah, and especially here at the state championship where the alliances are so evenly matched.
Maybe a nail biter. 115.
So the autonomous period starts.
Yeah, we get a shot of the Killer Bee machine. They've got the 3. Let's see if they can drop it. Holland Christian does so on the blue side, and Rush did, the Killer Bees did on the red side.
So they both come out looking good.
Right, now the Red Alliance in their first match had 152. The Blue Alliance had 192.
Yeah, so the red has their work cut out for them. They're going to need a 215 or so to have a chance at moving on.
This is NC Gears right here. Now we go to the other side, and
So
we see the Blue Devils.
So that Red Alliance needing about a 215. That's about what they did in their first 2 octo final match, right? About 211 or 212.
Yeah, it's going to be real close. They're capable, but they have to play a good match.
And a clean drop there for NC Gears. And that looks a little bit dicey.
Yeah, down in here. Take a look at what's going on there.
But they get the clean
Yep.
pullback. And that might hold up.
Meanwhile, there's the Killer Bees. They're trying to reach that that recycle container, and I think they need it in a bad way
They might be able to get it.
to have a shot.
They got it.
That's critical.
Or
oh,
not.
no. Oh, that's a heartbreaker. They needed it so badly, they got it, and then they lost it.
Now they got that pool noodle jammed in there.
And they can't get out of it.
That move right there might have been the end of the road for that Red Alliance.
trying to grab a few extra bins. And again, this has been very close.
19-18.
Oh, that one's going to stay on there as the clock goes to 0.
And a stack tumbled right at the end for NC Gears. And, you know, the Killer Bees had reached over. They had that recycle container. That gave them hope. Then they lost that. And you can see it laying out there about midfield. And then NC Gears also lost a stack. So here's NC Gears. They're heading over. They're about to place that on top. And what goes wrong here?
Oh.
It hooked it on the tote as they were pulling back.
Oh, boy, that's a killer.
And I think they were just rushing there. The match was almost over.
Yep. And here's the Blue Alliance. This didn't look too solid. Ooh.
But they got it done. And I think what we're seeing here, it's the Blue Alliance is going to be moving on, and the Red Alliance is not going to be moving on. Because even looking at these stacks here, you know, we only see 3 of them topped with containers, and we see there was 2 more on their side of the field. So they had the material there to get the job done, and then the Killer Bees dropped one, and then NC Gears fumbled on building that additional stack.
And that was it. I mean, that was the difference between moving on and end of your day.
Yep. And starting to pack the trailer.
So there's our scoring. It's close. Red Alliance needed more than what they got.
And that 176 from the Blue Alliance does put them in a position to advance. Barely. They needed a 175, so they are 1 point, well, half a point in average ahead right now. But we have 1 match left to play, so they might not hold on to that spot.
And here's the way the next match shapes up. Tech Vikes Engineers built on brains for the Blue Alliance. Red Alliance will be Robo-Stangs, Raptors, and Bedford Express as we continue to cull the field.
Now again, that Bedford Express Alliance, Bedford Express, Robo-Stangs, Raptors, 260 in their first quarter final. So they just need to have a halfway decent match for themselves, and they're moving on. We fully expect that.
Again, sometimes those last minute tweaks, adjustments, I don't know, high risk, high reward. Sometimes it pays dividends.
Well, in some of this too is you do assemble the machine when you get to the field. There are elements of the machine that you are attaching when you get there. And so it might be just part of their regular pre-flight checklist. Because the machines can be very big. They have a transportation mode, and then when you get to the field, you do the final tweaks like that. So it might be very routine what they're doing. So again, where we're at, this is the final quarterfinal match. This is the 8th quarterfinal match. When these two scores are determined, then we'll see who those 4 teams are that'll move on to the semifinals. And I think, again, right now, the Red Alliance put up 260 in their first match. So the wheels would have to totally fall off for these guys, and I don't expect. They've been solid all along. I think they're going to pass right on through. So, Dan, we've had 180 for this Blue Alliance in the first match. So how do you read this? Where are we at? Do you know?
They need a 187.
So 187, and they move on.
Yep.
Anything less, and they don't.
That's it.
All right. And who is it on the bubble? Do you have the alliance that they could bounce out?
I believe that they would knock out the number 5 alliance, which is the Team 27 Rush, 573 the Mech Warriors, and 3098 the Captains.
Okay, so we're looking for basically to see whether they can get 187 or higher for that Blue Alliance to move on to the semis. And I'm guessing like the Red Alliance probably they put up 100 points, they're good and they're moving on.
No, they got to do way more than that. They need 107.
107, okay. So
Ooh, that sounds very ambitious.
I think one of the robots on that alliance could probably do a 107.
The autonomous period begins, and again, the Blue Alliance is the one that really needs the points.
And it looks like the Tech Vikes, a good start. It looks like they gave them the full 28, so awesome for the Tech Vikes there in the Blue Alliance that they start off with that 28 points.
Remember, the Tech Vikes lost their machine to a tip over in the last round.
That's right.
That one missed can in auto mode, 1711 just took it away from 2337. So the number 1 alliance now, again, has 6 cans to work with.
And that means only 4 over on the blue side. I think they got one of them.
Would you guys say that the Blue Alliance and their aggressiveness towards taking those green recycle bins, nobody else has been that aggressive in that act, have they?
Well, the Red Alliance.
I'm sorry, I meant the Red
Absolutely.
Alliance. Yeah.
And you can see they drafted this alliance and they had plans for those recycle bins when we started the playoffs.
Yeah, and this is a situation where just kind of luck of the draw almost that this Blue Alliance had to go up against this number 1 alliance in this match.
Yep.
That's a bummer for them because they knew they weren't going to get those 2 against the Robo-Stangs. And then with the Raptors grabbing the other one.
Nice pickup there by the Engine Nerds to get that recycle bin in the position they want it.
Now with just 4 recycle bins on that blue side, they've got to make them all count. They had that 28-point autonomous, so it's possible that they could get over that 187. But I'm seeing one of them recycle containers is only on a stack of 5 right now and not 6.
The Red Alliance, they're going to come short of 260, but still. The X factor is the Blue Alliance, and they are in a precarious spot right now. The Tech Vikes is going to drop that stack.
That last stack that 85 completed on the Blue Alliance, that stack might be on their tether. So that rope that they have tying back to their ramp on the side of the field, if that's underneath the stack, the Gray Toads would not be fully supported by the scoring platform, and that stack would not be scored.
Yeah, and the fact that I only see 3 out there with recycled containers on top on the blue side, I don't think there's any way they're going to garner enough points, even if that one does count.
Upper left corner, look
can
at the
see it.
steal there. Wow.
Yeah, 23-37 had a couple chances at it. They missed, and 17-11 didn't.
So here's our scores. These are official now. 232 for the Red Alliance. They have established themselves as the team to beat going forward.
Absolutely. They were clearly the number 1 in the octofinals. They're clearly the number 1 here in the quarterfinals. I think only they can stop themselves at this point. And they've been solid every match. No bobbles.
Yeah, I mean, the only chance a team has, they have to get their 2 cans in autonomous mode to at least split that. They can't let them get 6.
And if we look at that Blue Alliance, they had 167, so I think they came up a little bit short. They needed the 187.
Yep, so they are out.
But again, the points are not going to carry over into the next round.
That's correct.
So feel good about what you've done, but know that sustaining it is paramount.
Right, and what we've just seen in those quarterfinals, if a team had one bad match, it killed them. Again, in the past, you could have a bad match because it took 2 wins to advance, but that story remains the same now as we go to the semifinals, because now we're going to come down to 4 alliances, and 2 will advance, and it's still about points. But now, the one thing here is each of the 4 alliances will play the other 3.
So you get 3 matches now instead of 2, which gives you a little bit more room for error. But at the same time, our average score, again, in the octofinals was 171.2. In the semifinals, that average score was all the way up to 185.3.
Wow.
So it's going to get higher here in the semifinals. So while you get 3 tries at it, they're all going to have to be good.
So here's the leaderboard. And again, we are now into our semifinals. These bottom 4 teams are done.
That's correct.
These 4 teams are moving on.
And again, look at the difference between number 1 to number 2. 246 average versus a 210, and then you have a significant dropout down to 3 and 4 too. So, you know, you look at that and you go, well, 1 and 2, if it plays out, those will be the ones moving on here.
is striking. They impacted one FLL and two FTC teams, landing them right in the zone. Congratulations to Team 5460, Strike Zone. Our last award for this break is the Highest Rookie Seed Award. This award celebrates the highest seeded rookie team at the conclusion of the qualifying rounds. We would like to congratulate Team 5603, Rise of the Warrior Bots. And that is going to conclude this session of award giving. But we'll be back in just a bit after we play a few more matches.
So here's our leaderboard now, and we can effectively take these four teams out, and these four teams are moving on to our semifinals. So let's look at these numbers, guys. Kind of a disparity between number one and number two.
Absolutely.
But again, these scores don't carry over.
That's correct. This goes away again, right? So again, it was critical to get them to this point, but now, yeah, everything is zeroed out again. So those top four alliances that now move on, those become zeros. And again, each alliance will play 3 matches.
And let's look at the top 4 teams. Starting with this machine, that's Mech Warriors.
Yeah, the Mech Warriors, their alliance partners would be 27 Rush and 3098 the captains. Now this is Fighting Pie. Fighting Pie is with the Gearheads, 1189. They're right in the foreground. They're 1189 and 107. Now, here you've got the Flyers, 66. They're partnered with 4967, that one team, and 1502 technical difficulties.
It's probably our surprise alliance. I don't think anybody would have picked them to make it to the semifinals.
And here's our number 1 alliance, Bedford Express, along with the Raptors and the Robo-Stangs. And right now, they are the hot alliance, no doubt about that.
Who would ever think that stacking plastic bins could be this provocative and exciting. It certainly is for all the kids here today.
Yeah, because there's about 5,000 of them sitting here watching it.
Yep.
And they've been doing that since about 9:30 this morning. Well, the pits opened, I think, at 8 o'clock this morning. The opening ceremony was at 9 o'clock, and matches began at 9:30.
And the machines are built very well, but they are not self-aware. So there's no such thing as momentum to carry them into this the semifinals.
Yeah, and this